Welcoming community. We live our message of hope, love, justice, and joy. We extend a special welcome to our visitors who are with us this morning. We're very glad you've joined us, and we'd love to get to know more about you after the service. If you haven't already stopped by the newcomer table, please do so. We can add you to our e-list so that we can invite you to all of our different programs and events. And we also have after worship this morning, a program titled New to UU. It starts at 11:45. It's 45 minutes long, and it's a casual introduction to our congregation and Unitarian Universalism. It's in the Murray Room, 11:45 today. And if you can't do today, we do those every month. So there'll be one in January that we'd love to invite you to as well. Also, a reminder that our annual Christmas Eve Nativity pageant is this Tuesday evening at 5 p.m. Join your friends in the manger as we retell a story which is, at the same time, very old and very new. This is an on-the-spot pageant, clear directions, no lines to remember, and always lots of fun. Everyone, children, youth, and adults are invited to take part as shepherds, angels, wise people, animals, and more. Also, as miraculous as his birth may have been, this year's baby doll Jesus is still in need of parents. Jesus needs parents, people. So sign up and you can have that role of a lifetime. You can check out the costumes in Robinson Lounge and sign up at the table or through Sign Up Genius on our website. An email with more details was sent out this morning. Also, after the service, our Women's Alliance cookie sale concludes. You can buy a plate of delicious cookies for $15, and all the proceeds go to support nonprofits that help women and children in the world. That's after worship. You've already seen the tables of cookies. Go there quickly if you want some cookies after worship this morning. And now at this sacred hour, grateful for each and welcoming all, let us be together for a time of peace and balance in a space of community and acceptance in which we can remember the good and seek the true and look together toward that one love that holds all. Come, let us worship together.
I pray this winter will be gentle and kind, a season of rest from the wheel of the mind. John Geddes.
Our solstice-themed meditation this morning comes from the pen of Rilke, an Austrian Christian mystic whose life spanned the 19th and 20th centuries. You, darkness from which I come, I love you more than all the fires that fence out the world. For the fire makes a circle for everyone so that no one sees you anymore. But darkness holds it all. The shape and the flame, the animal and myself, how it holds them, all power, all sight, and it is possible. Its great strength is breaking into my body. I have faith in the night. And here in the silence, we offer these, the prayers and meditations of our hearts. May it be so, and amen.
I do not enjoy the winter. I hate the cold. I hate the rain. I am not charmed by snow glistening in the sunlight. When my husband talks about how cozy it is huddling around our wood-burning fireplace in the winter, I think, you know who else huddled around wood-burning fires? Homo erectus. And nobody is trying to get back to that lifestyle, are they? And then there's the darkness. Pitch black at 5 p.m. is not my idea of holiday cheer. All this to say, I turn into a very Grinchy, Scroogey person in the winter. I'm just not used to it. I grew up in Southern California, where we don't really have winter. According to the Köppen climate classification system, which I learned about on Wikipedia, Orange County, where I was raised, has a semi-arid Mediterranean climate, which sounds pretty nice to me right about now. but it means I wasn't prepared for actual winter when I moved to New Jersey 12 years ago. Now, I realize that any New Englanders or Midwesterners among us may laugh at the idea that New Jersey experiences real cold, but it certainly felt that way to me. I didn't have a car my first several years here, and this was when I was in grad school at Princeton. So I spent more time than I would have liked outdoors, walking around campus and town, shivering as I tried to get back home. Besides classes, there was not much that could get me to leave the house between December and March, except the adult choir at UUCP. I have sung in either church or school choirs since I was 6 years old, and I have always loved it. So my first 2 years at Princeton were the only time in my life since age 6 that I was not a part of a choir, and I really felt that absence. So in 2014, I started searching. First off, I needed somewhere in walking distance from my apartment, which limited my options. And second, as you might imagine, it's kind of hard to find a church choir when you don't really believe in God anymore. And that's how I found UUCP. Not because I knew anything about Unitarian Universalism or wanted a spiritual community, but because I wanted a choir. And this was the closest congregation with the least objectionable theology. Only over time did I realize how much I actually do agree with Unitarian Universalist principles and outlook. So it is now my spiritual home, but it started as and remains my musical home first. Margie Herman, our fearless leader, was a major part of that. When I first met her, she was instantly warm, welcoming, and kind. Her guidance not only greatly improved my ability to read music, but gave me confidence to sing out and, over time, gradually express more of my grumpy personality, which I am sure everyone in the choir simply loves. And I'll tell you how you can know I'm being sincere. I joined the choir in October 2014. Winter was coming. I had a 45-minute walk each way to Wednesday rehearsals and Sunday services. And as the months wore on, that walk became increasingly cold and dark. Pitch black both ways on Wednesday nights and below freezing on Sunday mornings. And I had a rule for myself. I don't know how I came up with it, but this was my personal guide. If it was under 18 degrees Fahrenheit in the morning, I could skip church. 18 or over, and I had to go, and wind chill did not count. You would be amazed how many days I woke up and it was exactly 18 degrees. But as much as I hate the winter, I went. Because in a cold, dark season, we each have to find our own motivation to continue to seek warmth and brightness in difficult times and to share it with others, our own little light to follow. The adult choir was my light, and I know I speak for all of your warblers, Margie, when I say you are our light. We love you and wish you the very best in all your future adventures.
Today's homily is not really about the solstice, although I love winter solstice. I love the gradual return of the daylight. I love sitting on a darkened living room floor with my family on solstice night, encircled by glittery garlands and holiday lights, listening to the Beatles' Here Comes the Sun, and Peter Mayer's wonderful song that begins with a question, where is the light? The answer is the light's inside of me, the light's inside of you, the light's inside of all of us. I love sitting in silence for a brief spell, which has grown as our kids have aged. We used to struggle for 15 seconds of silence. Last night, we cleared a minute easily and could have gone a little longer. And I love eating black and white cookies and Oreos on winter solstice, for thematic indulgences make any ritual sweeter. But it is the sitting in the darkened silence, a time that leads to familiar and beautiful and singable music, that I love the most. I love when silence leads into music, and then when music leads into silence, that balance, that dance, that two forms of different energy that complement and deepen one another. There are times when all I want is silence. There are times when all I want is music. Most times, even if I don't realize it, I wish for the two in concert, like the light and the dark balancing and enhancing each other, each only harmonious because of the other. I love the return of the light, but not out of enmity for the dark, just as I love music, not out of hostility for silence. I love each because of the other, and without the other, each would quickly stale. It's this balancing of music and silence, along with word and ritual and old stories told anew, and new stories told about old things that come especially alive this time of year. For the solstice, switch is more of a blending, a mark of a slight turn that blends the blessings of light and dark in new ways, like a liturgy that blends music and silence in stories and words and rituals in slightly different but still dependable ways. It's the same each week, but a new formation of some creative spark that comes from all of us, everyone in the room, who adds to the harmony and balance and vitality of what we do. We have ministers, we have music directors, choirs, musicians, storytellers, but we all create worship each week. Even when we say nothing, we create the liturgy anew every time we gather. The same Peter Mayer I spoke of earlier, who is a Unitarian Universalist songwriter and performer in Minnesota, wrote in a different song lines about singing in a tavern, but also a setting that could easily be a congregation on a Sunday morning when he wrote, "Some join in with voices, some with pipes and reeds. Some in the band clap their hands or laugh and slap their knees. Some are still and listen with attentive eyes and ears, and it's always strange how the music changes when they disappear, when they disappear." And in the piece Listening, the poet Amy Lowell wrote, "'Tis you that are the music, not your song. The song is but a door opening wide, lets forth the pent-up melody inside. Your spirit's harmony, which clear and strong sings but of you. Throughout your whole life long, your songs, your thoughts, your doings, each divide this perfect beauty, waves within a tide of single notes amid a glorious throng. The song of earth has many different chords. Ocean has many moods and many tones, yet always ocean. In the damp spring woods, the painted trillium smiles, while crisp pine cones autumn alone can ripen. So is this, one music with 1,000 cadences." For nearly 20 years, Margie Herman has brought forth one music from the many more than 1,000 cadences of the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Princeton. She has made singers out of non-singers who have sometimes gone on to be soloists. She has encouraged our creativity, cultivated a sense of fearlessness among us, and insisted upon our unity in voice and presence. She has experimented and encouraged us to do the same. She has connected us with incredible musicians and artists who have blessed our services and deepened our spirits as we pray we have theirs. She has contributed to the denominational leadership of music professionals, and she has supported and openly admired and received the support and open admiration of her colleagues, of those who know firsthand the call, the bliss, and the trials of her holy service, and who see in her a model of how to serve and how to serve well. She has connected music ministry with all of our other ministries, seeking ways for all of us to grow and serve in joy together. She has led with her mind, thinking and planning and preparing for her ministry with all of her wisdom and intellect. She has led with her body, moving through the space and using her physical enthusiasm to release an often unharnessed energy within us. She has led with her spirit, which is one of love, a funny love, a tender love, a fierce love, a faithful love, a Unitarian Universalist love for us, for music, for her choir, and for the gathering. Over almost 20 years, by conservative counts, she has led us in over 500 anthems and pieces of music and worship. She has rehearsed the choir midweek and on Sunday mornings at least 1,500 times, and she has led us in singing well over 2,000 hymns. Since I've been here, she has usually been the first voice newcomers here in worship on a Sunday when she leads us in the opening hymn. And the ministry she leads, the music ministry, creates the first experience of worship that newcomers receive here at UU Princeton, for we sing first, and then we do the rest of worship, which involves more singing and more music, all led for nearly 20 years by Margie. One can't really quantify the blessings Margie has bestowed upon members and friends and visitors of our congregation, though. I know that because I can't really quantify the blessings that Margie has had on me. I've worked with her longer than anyone else I've ever worked with, though. And I know that my ministry, while always still very much a work in progress, is much more than it would be had not the Spirit placed me in Margie's company. Her spirit has deepened mine. Her creativity has sparked my own. Her warmth has encircled not only me, but my kids. Her smile is imprinted in my heart. And her can-do sense of making things happen and making them happen well has become a tenet of faith and professionalism for me. I'm better in every way for having shared in ministry with Margie since 2011. And when I think about all the people she has served week after week, the sad stopping in for some company, the fearful stopping in for some comfort, the known stopping in to be with friends, the lonely stopping in to make some friends, I better understand the title of the column she has written every month for our newsletter. That title is Grace Notes. She came up with that, perhaps getting at the intersection of grace and music, that music blesses all without condition and qualification. Music just blesses, doesn't care who you are, what you've done, where you've succeeded or failed. Music, like grace, is just something that blesses you whether you deserve it or not. You will be blessed. It's a gift. It's grace. You just get it because of love. That's the music ministry she has led for nearly 20 years. And that is the legacy she leaves as she nears her well-earned retirement. That is why her song will always sing in this space, why the essence of her generous spirit will always be a part of what we offer neighbor and stranger each week on Sunday. Gifts as profound and beautiful and faithful and courageous as those offered by our director of music ministry endure. They always endure. They give and they give and they give. And so we celebrate your retirement and express our gratitude for what you've given this congregation. But we also lift up thanks for the fact that what you've built here will continue to create beauty and community, even when you and Buzz are sleeping in on Sunday mornings and enjoying late breakfasts and walks outside. The music you've made will still sing. The ministry you've built will still serve. And you will always be known and loved for how fully you've served with such faith and friendship this congregation. So thank you, Margie, for everything you've done. May God bless you and Buzz and the retirement that you're heading into. May it be all that you wish it to be. And when the time is right, may you return to us to keep on adding in new and different ways that wonderful Margie magic to UU Princeton. May it be so, and amen.
I have the unenviable task of following Bill on this, but I grew up in a musical family. My father played the piano, my mother played the guitar, and sing-alongs were part of our daily lives. To this day, it's what my siblings and I do when we're together. So naturally, I became a choir kid at an early age. I found my people in the choir when I was in high school, and I've been in choirs ever since. I've had numerous choir directors in that time, many of whom had a deep knowledge of music and lots of experience directing choirs. Some were nice, some shouted. One of them would wander into a section to point a finger at whomever was off key. But then there's Margie, the best of them all in my totally unbiased opinion. Sorry. Margie has all the things one would want in a choir director: the deep knowledge, the experience, the love of music. And she also has something more. Margie brings her whole self to the job of conducting choir and running UUCP's music program. She is completely herself, and she brings that authenticity to the music, as well as a total focus on the music, and most importantly, the meaning of the music. Margie shared with us at our last choir rehearsal last Wednesday that she didn't know anything about UUCP when she came 19 years ago, but she obviously made a connection, and each week she brings spirituality to the music that makes it a music ministry rather than just a performance. Margie told the choir the other day that the connection to the meaning behind the music is what has made her time here at UUCP so meaningful for her. And it has made the music meaningful for us in the choir and hopefully for you in the congregation as well. At our last rehearsal, we rehearsed a piece called Roll Down Justice by Mark Miller. Margie shared with us that the composer is gay, and he belonged to a church that had some anti-gay policies and had to stand up to the entire church to speak against those policies. And maybe Roll Down Justice is about that moment, and maybe it's not, but it brings meaning to the words. 5 years ago, when the choir had its finest moment singing the Brahms Requiem, Margie did the same thing with the piece. It was a very challenging piece for a small church choir, and Margie helped us through it all, the pronunciation of the German, the challenging music, and the meaning. Brahms wrote the piece after his mother died, and there was a lot in that piece about grief and consolation. Margie hired a small orchestra and some soloists, and we had one of our shining moments in the choir's history. It was all Margie. To get us there, Margie has taught us lessons that are really life skills. We must listen to each other so that we can blend together. That sometimes the strongest voices have to quiet down so the softer voices can be heard. And that there's also a time when everyone has to sing out. And that at all times, you have to make sure that your words are understood. Margie calls the choir her warblers. And I have to admit, I didn't love the nickname at first because describing our singing as warbling didn't feel very complimentary. But Margie told the choir more than once that her vision of the choir moving as if it is one voice, much as a large flock of birds flying together in different patterns as one, which is called, she's told us, and I learned again through Wikipedia, called marmoration. You see the birds dipping and circling and making patterns in the sky. And when the choir is at its best, it's that one voice. And to be part of that one voice is a thing of joy, and hopefully a thing of joy for the congregation as well. Over the past several weeks, a group of us met with the choir members to talk about what they're looking for in a director. What we heard from choir members was that they would really like all the qualities that Margie has. We need someone like Margie who can work with experienced singers and people who can't read music, they said. We need someone like Margie who chooses different kinds of music. We need someone like Margie who is always positive. Margie has brought us all those qualities and more, but sadly she cannot clone herself, and we will have to let her go. She has told us she's ready for a new chapter of her life, and we must let her start that new chapter. But first, we must thank her from the bottom of our hearts for bringing joy and meaning to the music and embodying the meaning of what it means to lead a music ministry. We are full of love and gratitude, and we wish you the best of luck. To show our gratitude, we have some gifts to give you. Margie?
We also invited everyone to contribute to your goodbye present, so we have this gift as well. And we also thought, so this comes from everyone in the congregation, as does this, which is we thought you might need a nice spa day after 19 years of work. So this will get you a nice spa treatment.
Margie, a painting of some birds in a tree, so we hope that you enjoy that. For nearly 2 decades, Margie has joined our voices in song and our hearts in community. As the director of music ministry, she has equipped countless members of our congregation and community to contribute their passions and talents to our worship and special services. She has built a culture of trust, collaboration, and friendship within our music program, and that gift has spread to influence and bless our entire congregation. She has taught, learned, and grown with our congregation in generous, creative, and joyful ways. Our congregation will forever be blessed by not only her talents, but in how she has shared them in ways that deepen the spirit and build community. Therefore, in gratitude for her 19 years of exceptional service to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Princeton, we, the 2024 to 2025 Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Princeton Board of Trustees, hereby bestow upon Margie Herman the title of Director of Music Ministry Emerita. This title honors her longstanding devotion to the spiritual and artistic health of our members, friends, and visitors. It envisions a continuing relationship with Margie that shifts from a professional one to one of mutual gratitude and support. It celebrates how we have grown together over these nearly 2 decades and imagines that continuing in new ways as the bonds of music that connects our hearts, minds, and spirits sing anew.
Okay. Please be seated. I have to say a few things. You love praise, but this is praise steroids, I would say. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I just feel that I want to first thank the congregation because as has been alluded to here, I came here not knowing how to deal with this at all. And it took me a long time to understand what hymn singing was all about here. And so I feel that, and I remember early on when I had a little more nerve and you guys were really responding, I called you my nation of singers. And I suggested that we go on the road. This was me and my youthful enthusiasm, for sure. But it really speaks to what a blessing it is for me to stand before you every single week. It's one of the most blessed things that's ever happened to me in my career. So I just want to thank you for that. Your story, Jennifer, was, of course, perfect, as it usually is. But I just wanted to say that when I saw that little girl practicing her craft, I could only think of my husband, Buzz, who from a young boy did the very same thing, went into his basement all alone and practiced conducting. And so I just wanted to take a moment to honor all of the support he has given me, not only my whole life, but particularly in these 19 years. So I want you to just give him a hand for me. Bill, I have never had an experience like this where I've had seniors and so on, but nothing has ever been possible to have what we have, which is to have a collaboration about what's happening. That to me is the biggest blessing of working here, is that I could finally add something, rather than just conduct a group of pretty songs that sounded beautiful and lovely, but didn't move anything in me. Certainly that was not a job for me, but this was such a different kind of collaboration that what it helped me to do was really expose my whole spiritual life. And all that, I feel like there's been tendrils that have grown in my body. So the only other thing to say is just thank you for being such a wonderful, wonderful collaborator and leader. And I'll never forget you. So that's, I think, sort of it-ish. But I would now like to have you stand in a second and sing this hymn this, what's the name of the hymn? Come sing a song with me. And here's my last attempt at being a choir leader. What I've said was, wait, don't tell me. And I've said this before to several groups, but I don't think I've had a chance to say it with the entire congregation here. The first line, come sing a song with me that I might know your mind. When I first read that line, I was just blown away because what can happen when you sing a song with me is that I might know your mind, meaning I might be able to communicate better with you. I might have given you an invitation to go get to know me better. And so every time I sing this particular line in this particular wonderful hymn of our wonderful composer, Carolyn McDade, I think of that. And so I invite you to think of that too, to feel what that means for you to sing. Come sing a song with me that I might know your mind. It's just the essence of community, I think. So with that in mind, please rise in body and spirit. If you would remain standing, I have one more thank you. Can't possibly do a job like this without fabulous co-ministers. And we have one sitting right here, Sue Denouter. So speaking of qualities, this is one of the most flexible, earnest, look far and near and wide for the best little meditation thing that's going to happen in the service. She just brings it all. And how many books, music books she brings each Sunday is ridiculous. But it's all for her an attempt to find just the right thing in just the right place. I've never seen, and in all my 19 years, I've never seen anything like it. And it's just the next person who comes into this job will have half the job learned because of you. Thank you so much, my darling.
Thank you, Margie. After the service, we have a giant card for everyone to sign if you'd like to sign it. And we also have a poster for you to sign that Margie can take home with you. That plaque is for Margie to take home. I think put it right on your front door, just right on the outside of your front door there. But we have our own copy of the plaque that we'll have here in Robinson. It'll be out there for you to look at, and then we'll put it up in the building somewhere soon. At the end of our hour, we extinguish our chalice, knowing that its light carries us until we gather again. Go forth grateful for the moments before you, the breath within you, the people among you, and the Spirit guiding you toward lives of love and kindness. And go forth knowing that you are held always and always with everyone else by that great love of no beginning and never ending. Go in peace and amen.